Thomas the Tank Engine is very proud of his grandchildren. He thinks it's the most important part of the whole railway. His two coaches, Annie and Clarabelle, agree with him. Annie can only take passengers, but Clarabelle can take passengers, luggage, and the guard. They are both old and need new paint, but Thomas loves them very much. As they run backwards and forwards along the line, they sing songs to each other. When Thomas starts from a station, he sings, "Oh, come along, we're rather late. Oh, come along, we're rather late." And the coaches sing, "We're coming along, we're coming along." They don't mind what Thomas says to them, because they know he is trying to please the Fat Controller. And they know, too, that if Thomas is cross, he's not cross with them. One day they had to wait for Henry's train, which made Thomas very cross. How can I run my line properly if Henry is always late? He doesn't realize that the Fat Controller depends on me. Thomas whistled impatiently. He wanted to leave, but he had to wait for Henry's passengers. At last, Henry came. "Where have you been, lazybones?" asked Thomas. "Oh dear, my system is out of order. No one understands my case. You don't know what I suffer," moaned Henry. "Rubbish," said Thomas. "You're too fat. You need exercise." The guard blew his whistle, and Thomas started so quickly that he left him behind. The guard... Later, Thomas saw the tractor close by. "Hello," said the tractor. "I'm Terence. I'm ploughing." "I'm Thomas. I'm pulling a train." "What ugly wheels you've got." "They're not ugly. They're caterpillars," said Terence. "I can go anywhere. I don't need rails." "I don't want to go anywhere," said Thomas. "I like my rails, thank you." Boasted to the others. "Driver says I don't need him now." "Don't be so daft," snorted Percy.
"I'd never go without my driver," said Toby earnestly. "I'd be frightened."
"Huh," boasted Thomas. "I'm not scared." "You'd never dare." "I would then. You'll see." Next morning, the firelighter came. Thomas drowsed comfortably as the warmth spread through his boiler. Percy and Toby were still asleep.
Whenever they did anything that Duke thought wrong, he would say, "That would never suit his grace." Other engines came and went, but Duke outlasted them all. Stuart and Falcon used to call him Grandpuff. They were fond of him, but they got very tired of hearing all about his grace. Sometimes they would tease him and chant, "Engines come, engines go, Grandpuff goes on forever." "You impertinent scallywags," Duke would say. "Whatever are you engines coming to?" "Never mind, Grandpuff, we're only young ones." "Well, you'd better mind, unless you want to end up like Smudger." "Oh, Grandpuff, whatever happened?" "Smudger," said Duke, "was a show-off. He rode roughly and often came off the rails." I warned him to be careful, but he took no notice. "Listen, Dookie, who worries about a few spills?" "We do here," I said, but Smudger just laughed. Until one day, manager said he was going to make him useful at last. Smudger stopped laughing then.
Percy said no more. He just grinned at Toby. Later, Thomas was resting when Percy arrived. A large hopper was loading his trucks full of coal. Thomas was still being cheeky. "Careful," he warned. "Watch out with those silly trucks." Go on, muttered the truck. "And by the way," went on Thomas, "those buffers don't look very safe to me." The last load poured down. "Help! I'm choking!" cried Thomas. "Get me out!" Percy was worried, but he couldn't.
A crane was causing trouble. His name is Cranky, and this was his first day at the docks. "You're useless little bugs," he called from above. "If you put these trucks on the inside lines, then I wouldn't have so far to travel." "Rubbish," said Thomas. "We always arrange our trucks like this, and no crane has ever complained before." "Well, I'm complaining now." And Cranky banged his load down on the quayside. Later, the two engines met Gordon and James and told them about Cranky. "Cranes are airy-fairy things. They need a lot of attention, like me, in fact," said Gordon. "You should see the situation from Cranky's point of view," huffed James. "He's high up in the air, coping with wind, rain and baking sun. Then he looks down and sees you two little engines being annoying. No wonder he called you bugs." When Cranky heard that the big engines agreed with him, Percy puffed back as fast as he could. "I've got important news. The tracks on Toby's line are wobbly." "Huh," huffed Gordon. "Old and wobbly, just like Toby. That's not news. Can't stop to listen to your silly chatter." "Gordon never listens to me," muttered Percy. Next, he spoke to the Fat Controller. "Sir!
Duck was waiting for his next journey. Near him stood a red bus, but he didn't look friendly like Bertie. The bus growled as he gazed at the happy passengers. "Stupid nonsense," he grumbled. "I wouldn't have brought them if I'd known. I'd have had a breakdown or something." "I'm glad you didn't," smiled Duck. "You'd have spoiled their fun." "Ah, enjoyment is all you engines live for. One day railways will be ripped up." Duck felt shocked at such an idea. "We have a friend called Bertie, and he's a bus, but he likes the railway. Sometimes he teases us about it, but he'd never want to see it ripped up." "Huh," growled the bus. "I know Bertie. He's too small in size to be of any use." Duck took no notice.
James was very rude whenever he saw them. "Ugh, what dirty objects," he would say. At last, Toby lost patience. "James," he asked, "why are you red?" "I am a splendid engine," answered James. "Ready for anything. You never see my paint dirty." "Oh," said Toby innocently, "that's why you once needed bootlaces, to be ready, I suppose." James went redder than ever and snorted off. It was such an insult to be reminded of the time a bootlace had been used to mend a hole in his coaches. At the end,
Edward buffers up behind and helps push, but Edward is old. Some engines think this makes him unreliable. "Edward is a useless old steam pot," Gordon sniffed. "He should be retired." "But he doesn't have tyres," Percy said. "Retired," said Thomas, "means taken out of service." "And not a moment too soon," said Gordon.
What is this nonsense? I can't believe I paid $6 for this.
Quiet! This is the best part!
That's it. I'm out of here.
This video is the biggest load of hoo-ha I've ever seen. Why do you insist we watch this stupid thing?
Am I the only one who understands the complexities of this ambitious cinematic masterpiece? This movie isn't stupid! You're stupid!
Oh, Big, why you gotta be like that?